Hi guys, it's Mrs. Gonzalez. I wanted to go over our multiplication strategies, and the last one that we're going to be talking about today is called arrays. So in your journal, I want you to put the word arrays. And an array is when things are put into rows and columns. So I'm going to do an example so you can see what an array looks like. And we're going to use our multiplication equation to make our array. Okay, and I am drawing 5 dots down because I'm using my multiplication 5 times 3. And when you make an array, you organize it neatly in rows and columns. So I have 5 rows down, and then each row has 3. So these are my rows. I'm going to label it. You can call it rows or groups. And then each row has 3. We're going to count the ones that we already have. So it's 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is an example of an array where it's organized neatly in rows and in columns. Now, if these are my rows, the ones that go like this, then my columns go up and down like this. And I'll show you an example in a few minutes. And if you can see on this one, each row has 3 dots. So I'm going to put 3 here to the side for this row, 3 for this row, 3 for this row, 3 for this row, 3 for this row. Okay, this is my array. This means that I have 5 rows. These are my rows of 3. There are 3 in each row. So 5 rows. Where did I get my 5 from? A multiplication sentence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rows. Each row has 3. Okay, 5 rows of 3. Or I can write my multiplication sentence. 5 times 3, which means I have 5 rows of 3. And if you notice, I put the 3 here, so I automatically have my repeated addition, which could be 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equals 15. This is an example of an array. This is another way that you can solve a multiplication strategy. Now I'm going to show you an anchor chart on arrays because you will see some in your homework. So quickly, I just want to go over it. Okay, so arrays are things that are put into rows and columns. Our rows go side to side. Row, this is 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows. Our columns go up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are our columns. So sometimes your multiplication will be set up in arrays so that you can work it. Here's an example. Okay, this is another way to show multiplication in an array, and it says one way to show multiplication is by making a set that shows groups in equal rows and columns. Okay, so here we see an array. This is an array. What I do when I see an array is I like to label it. So I'm going to label my rows. You can call it rows or groups, same thing. I put both so that I don't forget, so I put an R and a G, rows and groups. Okay, I have rows. How many rows do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 rows. Of how many in each row? Well, let's see. There's 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, 3 here. 5 rows of 3 equals 15. So 5 times 3. So you can also use an array to solve a multiplication problem. All right. Let's review our strategies. So we learned repeated addition. Okay, I showed you what an array looks like. We talked about equal groups. There's also another one using the number line. We're not going to talk about that today. We're just going to focus on the rest. All right, now for your homework that you are doing in your book, I want us to quickly review what equal groups are. So equal groups. There were 2 bugs. Each bug had 5 green spots. How many green spots are there in all? So I want you to look at that for a few minutes and think about how many dots or spots are there in each bug. Okay, you should have counted and you should have seen that there's 2 groups of 5 because each bug has 5 spots. So you can see your equal groups and your multiplication sentence. That is what we're going to practice today. So here I have an example for you. I want you to look at it for a few minutes and I want you to count how many equal groups we have, and then I also want you to think how many are in each group. That's what we're going to be focusing on today. All right. So if you are looking at the picture, we have 2 groups, right? 2 groups. How many are in each group? We need to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 here. So I can write it as this. Using my words, I have 2 groups of how many in each group? 5. And then I can write my multiplication sentence. What is my multiplication sentence? 2 times 5. 2 groups of 5. That is what this means. Now look at here. If I showed my work, I already did my repeated addition. So I can say 5 plus 5 equals 10. So 2 groups of 5 equals 10. All right, ready for the next one? Okay. All right. How many ladybugs do we have? How many equal groups? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 groups, or 4 ladybugs. How many dots does each ladybug have? We need to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is showing my work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this one has 6. Look at what we just did. We showed our work, we did our repeated addition. 4 groups. How many in each group? 6. Okay, so I can write it using my words, 4 groups of 6, and I can write my multiplication equation. 4 times 6. Since we already did our work, we showed our repeated addition. Let's write our repeated addition. 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6. And when you add all this, you should get 24. Okay, let's do our last one. Okay. Okay, again, how many groups or how many flowers do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 groups. How many are in each group? We need to count. There's 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, 3 here. 4 groups of 3 in each group. Now, what's our multiplication sentence? 4 times 3. Let's do our repeated addition. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 12. Okay guys, that is showing your work in equal groups. And once you do the equal groups, then you know automatically your repeated addition and you can write your multiplication sentence. So you're actually doing all 3 different ways. Okay? Alright. Now, in your math book, what you have, okay, for Wednesday is this, where you're going to write a multiplication story for the picture that they are providing. And they gave you an example here at the top. Okay, Kit has 4 bags. There are 3 apples each bag. How many apples does Kit have? Okay, that's a story problem. And here is the picture. Your number of groups, number in each group, number in all. Okay, so use this to review. So let's say that we have this multiplication sentence. What story problem can we write using this picture? Well, here I have 3 groups of 2. Remember, these are our groups. That's what it means. 3 groups of 2. Well, I can write a story problem that says, Jenny has 3 pans. She has 2 onions. I think those are onions. In each pan. How many onions does she have? Okay, that is my story problem that goes with this. You can write any story problem you want. Okay, use this as an example to guide yourself or be creative. Use your creativity. Now, look over here. These are in arrays, okay? And they already gave you the multiplication sentence. So, you're going to be writing a story using this picture. Now, since they gave you the multiplication sentence, it's 4 groups of 4 or rows. Remember that? So you can say groups or rows. It doesn't matter. I'll just put an R next to it. Rows or groups of 4. I like to label it. These are my rows or groups. It's just set up in an array. Okay? 4 groups of 4. In each group or row, there's 4. Okay, you're going to use this to write a story. So make up any story where you're talking about someone that has 4 groups and each group has 4. Any story. You're going to do the same thing for this, the same thing for this. Okay, remember, let's label it just so that you get in the habit of labeling it. Rows or groups, doesn't matter. These are your rows or your groups. If you have 2. How many in each one? 3. Okay, make up a story. That is what you're going to be doing on pages 448 through 450, which is for Wednesday. Okay, here they gave you the pictures. You need to write your multiplication sentence. So you already have, this is 1 group, 2 groups. You need to write your multiplication sentence. So I have 2 groups of how many in each group? 4. All right, now for Thursday, pages 451 and 452, you're going to be solving this part right here where they gave you the multiplication picture, they gave you the boxes, and you just need to fill these out. 6 groups of 3, or 6 times 3. Fill it out. And then here, again, fill out the equation and then write a story problem. Guys, be creative. I know you can do this. You are smart. We know how to write story problems. You practice that in class. And if you need ideas, go back and look at these story problems that you have here. All right, guys, I hope that this helped you with your homework. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I will try to help you as much as I can. I hope that you are having a great day. Stay safe, and we'll see each other for the next lesson.